Beautiful good morning to all of you. Today I Sujata here for 7th standard. We are going to start our second term syllabus. First of all, we are going to start chapter number 6, a grain as big as hand's egg. You know what is grain? I'll show you. Grain is this. जिसको हम कनक का दाना बोलते हैं. Okay, so it was a big like hen's egg. Okay, this chapter is written by Leo Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was a Russian writer who wrote novels, short stories, essays, and plays. This was a very famous chapter, and this was appreciated for their realistic description of life in Russia. Before starting this chapter, I must go through with this word meaning rewind. A deep, narrow valley, groove, long, narrow cut on a hard surface, curiosity, an interesting object, pondered thought, not make head or tail off, not understand, totter, walk unsteadily. These are some difficult words which we already discussed. Now let's start with the chapter. This is, as I told, written by Leo Tolstoy in 1886. This probably takes us back a time when the land and what is titled was free for everyone. Should one live by on one's labor and content with it? Or I what others produce? So in this it describes that people having their own land, they can grow number of things. They can sow different things in their land, or some people who are having an eye on the other things what others are going to produce. Let's start with this chapter. One day some children found in a ravine, that is a deep valley. I already told you in the word meaning, a thing shaped like grain of corn. What was a grain of corn? With a groove drawn the middle, but it was a large, as it was feeling like that hen's egg. Hen's egg. Okay. A traveler was passing by, saw things it bought from the children for a penny, and that traveler hired it from the children's after giving one penny, and he was trying to give the king of that town. He was very he was showing very interest to that grain. The king called together his wise men that and told him to find what the thing was. King hold that grain, and he was asking that what is the thing was. He was just thinking at that time. He could not make a head or tail of it. Head or tail of it, even not understood the thing. At this time, when the thing was laying a window sill, a hen flew and impact at it. Still, she made a hole in it, and even one hand was crossing outside of window, जहाँ पे मिरर लगा होता है बेटा, तो वहाँ से he just pecked on it. Pecked means चोंच मार रही थी उस पे, and then everyone saw it was a grain. Then they realized that what it is, it was a grain. The wise man went to the king and said, "It's a grain of corn." At that time, wise men replied that to the king that it was a grain. The king was surprised and ordered to learn to find men where such corn had grown. The king wanted to take the information deeply, and he told to the persons that go outside and ask where this kind of corn has been grown. The learned pondered again and searched in their books, and even they were trying to search in the books but could not find anything. So they returned to the king and said, "We can give you no answer. There is nothing about it in our books. You will have to ask peasants." Now they are going to search peasants who may guide them. Perhaps some of them may have heard from their fathers. He said that might they know from their father when where grain grew to such a size. So the king gave a order very old peasant should be brought before him, so that if the old person will be in front of him, king can ask the question that how, where, when it was grown, because a youngest person might do not know the things, but the oldest one might knew these kind of things because it was an earlier discovery. So the thing, and his servant found such a man and brought him to the king, old and bent, ashy pale, toothless. He just managed help to crutches to totter into the king's presence. He did not have any tooth, and face was very dull. He was old and the back was very bent, and he was trying even to stand with the help of crutches. The king showed him the grain, but the old man could hardly see it. He took it, however, and felt it with his hand. The king questioned him, saying, "Can you tell us, old man, where such grain has grew? Have you ever bought such corn or sown in your fields?" He was asking that person that, have you ever known that information that this kind of corn is grown in your field? The old man was deaf. He could not hardly hear what the king said and only understood with difficulty. "No," answer he lost. "I never sowed not reaped like this in my field." So he replied, "I don't know. Even I did not grow and sow this kind of seeds in my field. When we bought corn, the grains were always small as they are now. But you might ask my father, he may have heard where such kind of grown." So the king sent for the old man's father. He was found and brought before the king. He came walking with one crutch. What he said, he was very shocked that old man was walking with two crutches, and the father who was going to come, he has only one crutch. The king showed him the grain and again asked the same question, "Did you sow? Can you tell us, the old man, where the corn like this used to grow? Have you ever bought any like this or sow any in your fields?" Though the old man was rather hard of hearing, he could still hear better than this person, his son, had done. "No," he said, "never sowed nor reaped any grain like it. I never bought any, for in my time money was not yet in use." So he said, money having not that much value, so I didn't sow and not even buy these kind of things. When there was any need, we shared one another. So what happened, if there is a need kind of money and all these things, we share. I don't know where corn this like this grew. Ours were larger and yield more flour than present day grain, but I never saw any like this. I have, however, heard my father say that in his time the grain grew larger and yield more flour than ours. You had better ask him. Now, this person said, "You may ask to my father." And his father said that you may ask to my father, because my father told me that that time grains was little bit bigger. So the king sent for this old man father. They found him too and brought him before the king. He entered walking easily without crutches. Now this one is having two crutches, his father is having one crutch, and his grandfather is having no crutch. He was walking without crutches. His eyes were clear, his hearing good, he spoke distinctly. The king showed him the grain, and the old grandfather looked at it and turned it about in his hand. "It's long since I saw such a fine grain," said he. He bit a piece off and tasted it. He has taken a piece and tried to taste it. "It's the same kind," he added. He said, "It is the similar."